Again, my name's Gabe Zoln. A real good friend of mine in Houston, Texas, sent me an email, and I thought I'd turn it into like a video, as I've done in the past. And here we go. Quit trashing Obama's accomplishments. He has done more than any other president before him. He has an impressive list of accomplishments. First president to apply for a college aid as a foreign student, then deny he was a foreigner. First president to have a Social Security number belonging to another man from a state he has never lived in. First president to preside over a cut to the credit rating of the United States. First president to violate the War Powers Act. First president to be held in contempt of court for illegally obstructing oil drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. Remember that? First president to require all Americans to purchase a product from a third party. Obamacare! First president to spend $1 trillion on shovel-ready jobs that were no such things as shovel-ready jobs. First president to abrogate bankruptcy law to turn over control of companies to his union supporters. First president to bypass Congress and implement the DREAM Act through executive fiat. Huh? Hey, I mean, why not be able to do that if you're president? First president to demand a company hand over $20 billion to one of his political appointees. You know who that is? We're talking about the drilling in the oil, you know what I mean? In the Gulf of Mexico. First president to tell a CEO of a major corporation, General Motors, to resign. First president to terminate America's ability to put a man in space. Yeah, he shut down the whole program. Well, that's not true. What he said was he wants NASA to focus on Islam and figure out a way to bring the brotherhood into the fold. First president to cancel the National Day of Prayer and say that America is no longer a Christian nation. No, it's not. It's a Muslim nation. Or it soon will be. First president to have a law signed by an auto pen without being president. That was when he was going back and forth to Hawaii. Back and forth, back and forth. And he figured, you know what? He'll just auto pen sign it. That's what he did. Yeah. First president to arbitrarily declare an existing law unconstitutional and refuse to enforce it. Now, we're talking about the act where, marriage, you know what I mean? He's not enforcing that. First president to tell a major manufacturing company in which state it is allowed to locate a factory. You know who that was? That's when he was telling Boeing Aircraft, you can't do that! Yeah, because they wanted to move to a state where you didn't have to pay all his insane union fees. You know what I mean? First president to file a lawsuit against the states he swore an oath to protect, like Arizona, Wisconsin, Ohio, and Indiana. First president to actively try to bankrupt an American industry like the coal. He's got EPA shutting her down. Yeah, shut it down. Wind, solar, let the electricity bills go through the roof. Shut it down. Yeah. First president to fire an inspector general of AmeriCorps for catching one of his friends in a corrupt case. First president to actively try to bankrupt an American industry. And that's not just coal. It's a whole lot of industries that are not what he considers to be clean, and pure. First president to appoint 45 czars to replace elected officials in his office. Do you know what each czar cost the American taxpayer? Not that anybody cares. About $5 million when you take into consideration their flunky staffs, offices, and all the rest of it. They're $5 million a pop. Nothing serious. First president to surround himself with a radical left-wing anarchist. Oh yeah, he hasn't done that. That's why he's got all those radical Islamists in key political positions. First president to golf. It says 73 separate times in his first 2.5 years, but I think that's, oh yeah, then it does say to 102 to date. Yeah, guy's had 102 games. You'd think by now he'd play a whole lot better than the crap that he shoots, huh? First president to hide his medical, education, and travel records. You know why? Well, let me tell you why. If he gave us his educational records, we know that he never went to Harvard for more than like a day. If he gave us his travel records, we know that he went to places he couldn't have gone to as an American citizen, like, during the 1980s. And his medical records would show us that he probably had a lobotomy. Look at the scar at the side of his head, for God's sakes. First president to win a Nobel Peace Prize for doing nothing to earn it. He's done the exact opposite. This guy is war crazy. First president to go on multiple global apology tours and concurrently insult our friends tours. Yeah, he seems to think that America is like the Satan of everything, you know what I mean? America is the problem that the world is in the state that it's in. That's what he told all the Muslims. First president to go on 17 lavish vacations, including date nights and Wednesday evening White House parties to his friends, paid for by that. This guy had some hellacious parties. Are you kidding? He had mainline entertainers. Oh yeah, the buck didn't matter. Whatever it cost, who cares? First president to have 22 personal servants, taxpayer funded for his wife. Actually, I think she's got more than that. Yeah, I think she has more than that. First president to keep a dog trainer on retainer for $102 grand a year at taxpayers' expense. This is probably obsolete too, and the reason that is he now has 2 dogs. He's got Sonny and Bo. Yeah, and neither one of them travel in an airplane with him. They go in their own aircraft. Why? Because Muslims can't have dogs with them. First president to fly a personal trainer from Chicago at least once a week at taxpayers' expense. That's Bozo! First president to repeat the Holy Quran and tell us the early evening morning call to Azan, which is Islamic call to prayer, is the most beautiful sound he's ever heard. He probably heard that many times when he was getting cornholed by his teachers when he was like a little kid. First president to tell the military men and women that they should pay for their own private insurance because they, quote, volunteered to go to war and they knew the consequences. You know what I mean? I don't think a lot of these guys volunteered. Then there was the first president to tell the members of the military that they were unpatriotic for balking at his last suggestion. Yeah, he thought that, how could you be patriotic if that bothered you that I told you that, you guys are all screwed up. First president to side with a foreign nation over one of the American 50 states, Mexico versus Arizona. How about this? How about the first president that funded, equipped, trained the enemies of America? Al-Qaeda? The guys that flew those planes into the Twin Towers, and into the Pentagon, and into the field in Pennsylvania. The first president to fund them, equip them, train them, and he admits it. How's Obama's hope and change working for you? It ain't working for me.